Suppose you were born in 1908 in Brazil. No, this is too far back, mate. Jesus Christ, don't you know anything about history? Here, there you go. Only about 100 years ago, Napoleon made your king flee Portugal to Brazil, and your country is in its infancy. It's only about 85 years old. You live in a place that has been largely explored for over 400 years, and only very recently given a shot at its own independence. There is barely any structure to your town, and you're born in poverty like the vast majority of your peers. But you are talented. In the future, you're going to change the history of the music of your country and help establishing the foundations of one of the most widely known festivals in the world, the Brazilian Carnival. It's not going to be easy, however. You live in one of the Brazilian favelas where nothing is really easy. You're only 15 years of age now, the First World War just ended, and you have to quit school to work as a bricklayer's assistant because you need to make ends meet. Because of the funny hat you use to protect yourself when working there, your friends are going to nickname you Cartola. This is Portuguese for a top hat. Your mom is going to die 2 years later and you'll start to drink. Because of this, you're going to fight with your father and you'll be left to live alone in the favelas of Rio. Life is definitely not easy.
Habitada por gente simples e tão pobre que só tem o sol que a todos cobre. Como podes, mangueira, cantar? Pois então saiba que não desejas.
But music runs in you and you can't escape from it. In 28, age 20, you and your friends that fancy this new style called samba created one of the most traditional samba clubs of the country, Mangueira, named after your favela. Mangueira was only the second samba club of Rio. You will compose the first samba ever to this school and choose the green and purple colors that will become trademarks of this club. Mangueira will become one of the top samba clubs in Brazil, winning the carnival competition over 20 times. You are going to dedicate a lot of your life to music. You will sell your sambas to others and appear on a show here and there, but music doesn't pay enough. Despite this, you will influence Brazilian music massively, collaborating with names such as Noel Rosa, Carmen Miranda, Paulinho da Viola, Nara Leão, and Heitor Villa-Lobos, among others. However, you will only have a chance to record your own album in 1974, age 65. You'll be working as a car washer then, because, well, you still have to make ends meet. Even though it's not your prime anymore, what you do is so good that this record will explode, and you will finally be able to make it in music. Your first live show will only be played around 76, and you will finally get your own house in 78, but by then, you'll already be sick with thyroid cancer, having to undergo surgery, and will pass away, sadly, 2 years later because of this cancer, only age 72. What you created, however, is incredible. You are a poet in your own way. You observe people's lives and their circumstances and made something amazing with it, and people will listen to it decades later. Apparently people from Indonesia will listen to this as well. Shout out to the 13 people from Indonesia who engaged with this channel in the past 28 days. In a brief series of videos, we're gonna talk about who I believe to be one of the greatest artists in the history of Brazil, Cartola. I think what makes me like Cartola so much is how Brazilian he is. His history is the history of millions of people in the country and is still being repeated every single day. He lived through poverty and personal tragedy in a country where inequality was and still is rampant to this day. He's also living proof that, sometimes, it's never too late. I think recording his tracks at a late age adds to his work in a very important way. You can almost hear the experience, the pain, and yet the graceful acceptance and humbleness in his voice. It goes so well with his message. We are blessed with one single record of Cartola's voice in 1940, and despite showing himself an incredibly mature musician already, I don't think his voice carried the same subjective quality and experience back then. You can find a link for that in the description. As you can see, all of this was before Cartola's big breakthrough with his album, so I think it just goes to show how influential he was in such a vast range of genres as well. Obviously samba, then later bossa nova, but also Carmen Miranda, which was considered to be pretty much the pop trend of the time. I think it's a very convincing proof that Cartola influenced Brazilian music so much. In the next video, we will talk about one of Cartola's best tracks in my view, O Mundo é Moinho, and later break this down sonically so you can understand the fine details. Hopefully you get to understand a bit better how Cartola used samba in his very own way and how he crafted the instruments to complement his message and to give the meaning he wanted. I think is a really interesting piece. For now, I wanted to share part of this beautiful video of Cartola singing this song to his dad. They reconnected later in life, apparently quite a beautiful way. And then in the third video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna break this down lyrically, because for me the main element of this track is actually the lyrics. I generally believe Cartola to be one of the greatest poets Brazil has ever had, and what is more amazing is he was able to pull this off with very little formal education. So I'll see you there.